Does that sound too weird? Okay, you've caught me in my pajamas right now.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
Because this deep in the course, I feel like we're friends. And that's why for this section, Path to Friendship, I'm in my pajamas so that we can get a little bit more intimate as we talk about building real intimate friendships with the people that you have on the podcast.
I can be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Why would you want to make the focus to be building intimate friendships with the people that you have on the podcast? I would argue that is the biggest benefit to having a podcast. We think about podcasting like it's a content channel. More than it is even a content channel, it is a relationship mechanism, creator, builder, platform for friendship building. When you're doing content-based networking, when you're building content with somebody, you feel like you're working alongside them.
That's what friends are for. Well, friends might be a bit of a stretch.
That builds a lot of rapport, and you can turn that rapport building that you did into an actual friendship by following just a few steps to go from asking somebody to be a guest on your show to actually building a friendship with that person. It doesn't work all the time, but I can tell you from personal experience, it works often. I have built a lot of actual friendships with people that I've invited on my show. The key thing to remember here is that friendships don't have to happen by accident. You can intentionally create them. Step one is you invite the person to be a guest on your show. And if you followed all the other steps in this course, there are so many things that you have done right to set yourself up for success here. Step two is you do a pre-interview with that person. There are so many things that you can do in this pre-interview to set yourself up for success with a friendship. This is how I start all of my pre-interviews. Hey, so-and-so. Thank you so much for saying yes to being a guest on the show. What I want to do in this call is just get to know you a little bit, and I have a set of questions I'm going to ask you, and by the end of it, we'll have a really good idea of where we want to go with an episode. And what that does for that other person is it puts them at ease. Oh my gosh, you're going to get really interesting content out of them, so it's going to help you from a content standpoint. But also, chances are you're going to be laughing together, and jokes and personal stories and personal facts about the other person. The whole experience is a positive experience for the other person because you've made the whole experience about that other person. That is the kind of intentionality that builds friendships.
You're just in time. I believe I've isolated the algorithm from making friends.
Because friendships don't have to happen on accident. You can be intentional about it. And this is a great way to do that. Step three is you're going to do the actual podcast interview with that person. And what's cool about this is when you get on the second call with them, there's some kind of magic about two interactions. The first time you talk to them, it was a little cold at first, and you were spending a lot of time just like trying to make jokes and put the other person at ease.
Look at over there. Ha-ha! Latest outlook.
And so now they're going to be creating content that they feel prepared to create because that's what the whole pre-interview is about. And they're going to be creating it with somebody that they feel like they already know. So it's just this 1-2 punch of rapport building that really sets you up to build a friendship. The next step 4, is to text them. Now, maybe you've already been texting them. So you've just had 2 awesome conversations with them. And maybe you've started texting them earlier than this. But if you haven't been texting them, this is definitely the time to start texting. 1, texting is what friends do.
Brothers gotta hug.
Now that you've had 2 awesome interactions with them, they're not going to feel off-put by getting a text message from you, especially if you text them intentionally about them. So what text message do you send? Hey, so-and-so, that was an awesome interview. I am so excited to publish it. I will let you know as soon as it goes live. Thank you so much again. And then, and you cannot skip this step, you must send a GIF. I'm not kidding. Sending GIFs is what friends do. I mean, it is going to take this relationship from professional all the way down to friendship really quick.
Hello, what the hell do you want now?
And you can gauge it and get a feel for it. Maybe at this point, they're not really responding that well. They're kind of cold towards you. They're not really that interested in a relationship beyond being featured on the podcast.
But I just don't have any room in my life for a new friend.
But if that's not the case, if they responded with just as much excitement and enthusiasm on that text message, I recommend that you add them on all the social media platforms. Add them on Facebook. You are now Facebook friends. So step number 6 is Giftology. If you haven't heard of Giftology, it's an amazing book by John Ruhlin. He talks about like not sending things like corporate swag that's got your logo all over it. I wholeheartedly agree with that. That is not the kind of gifts that we love to receive as people. We love to receive gifts that make us feel like, oh my gosh, this person knows me so well. Oh my gosh, how did they know that I love Winnie the Pooh? Those are the kinds of things that make us feel awesome when we receive those kinds of gifts.
Instructions to fit in, have everybody like you, and always be happy.
So what I do is I sneakily incorporate into my questions in the pre-interview or in the interview some kind of question that's going to reveal for me that they're a huge fan of Winnie the Pooh. I had somebody on my show that said that he had these 3 chickens that just recently died, and their names were Bacon, Egg, and Cheese. So wow, this is getting dark and morbid here.
OMG.
I knew that it was something that he was pretty lighthearted about, so I had our design team make a phone wallpaper background that was angelic depictions of his 3 chickens singing with hymn books as ghosts or as angels, and under them were their gravestones saying bacon, egg, and cheese. And I texted that to him, and he was dying laughing. Right there, that's an example of Giftology that's not that complicated. Step number 7 is you publish the episode, and then, you guessed it, send them another text message saying, oh my gosh, we just published the episode. I just listened to it again. It was so awesome. It was awesome having you on the show. Throw a GIF in there to make sure that, again, you're keeping the relationship at the human level, and they're going to feel honored again that you're making all your communications about how awesome they are. Okay, the last step, step number 8, is very powerful. It's something that I do a lot on Twitter, and that is feature. I feature the heck out of this person that I had on the show. I will make sure that I've broken up their episode into all kinds of pieces of micro content, and I am posting all the awesome things that they said, making sure to tag them in those awesome things. They're of course going to comment on it. I'm going to comment back about how awesome they are, and it makes them feel great. The point here is now I'm using my social media to shine the spotlight on this person that I've had on my show, to talk about how great they are and how great their thoughts were on my show. Okay, so we've got initial ask, pre-interview, the actual episode recording, texting, connection on social, Giftology, publishing, and feature. I get that is a lot. That's 8 steps. You're probably not going to do all of those steps with every single person, but if you did 3 or 4 of these steps with the guests that you have on your show, you are going to be creating a lot of friendships with your ideal buyers. So hopefully I haven't overwhelmed you. At the bottom underneath this video, I laid out the 8 steps, and I gave you templated examples of how I use them and how we use them on B2B growth. The key thing to remember here is that friendships don't have to happen by accident. They can be intentional. So go out and start intentionally building friendships with the exact people that you want to know.